one of the most high-profile decisions was obviously when he dropped Jude Bellingham.
But I don't see a situation where Jude Bellingham starts the first game.
I don't think he's placing the team as like 100%.
Imagine being a Ballon d'Or contender, the face of Real Madrid, and the most feared midfielder in Europe, only to be told you might watch the World Cup opener from the bench. It sounds impossible, right? But right now, behind the scenes in England's camp, a massive shift is happening. Thomas Tuchel just dropped a bombshell statement that proves nobody is safe, including Jude Bellingham. So, why is Thomas Tuchel suddenly icing out England's biggest star? And who is the shock Premier League player that has officially stolen Jude's spot in the lineup? Let's talk about why things are getting incredibly scary for Jude Bellingham. To understand just how tense this situation is, we have to look at what just went down in England's final warm-up match against New Zealand. In the first half, Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers got the nod at the number 10 spot. Rogers has been Tuchel's golden boy, the only player to feature in every single World Cup qualifier.
It's that big debate between Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers. We've seen that Morgan Rogers, who I know you're a big fan of, who's been absolutely outstanding for Aston Villa and for England throughout the whole of qualifying, it's him against the huge stellar name that everybody knows in world football, who's still the biggest star in this England squad by a distance, despite Harry Kane and the others, Jude Bellingham.
But under the Florida sun, the pressure seemed to get to him. Rogers looked anxious, forcing plays, and a lot of what he tried completely fell apart. Tuchel was visibly furious on the sideline, later blasting the team for freestyling, losing their shape, and lacking any real invention. But the moment Jude entered the game, everything changed. The urgency went through the roof. Instantly, Bellingham showed his world-class quality. He demanded the ball, injected some much-needed bite into the midfield, and reminded Tuchel exactly what England was missing when they struggled against Japan and Uruguay earlier this year. By the end of the night, Tuchel was smiling when asked about Jude's performance.
How important was Jude in bringing the extra bite in the second half?
Was a part of it, yeah. But you can see, I think that you can see, Jude has for sure the decisiveness and he has the bite. This is his key characteristic. But you can see that he comes from an injury and is full of energy, and happy to be back on the pitch. And like he had his break, unfortunately, in a decisive part of the season, Champions League season, and national campaign for the championship in Spain. So this was very unfortunate for Real Madrid and for him personally. But you can see now that he is actually in a sweet spot. He comes back, he's fresh, he wants to play, and then he's in top shape.
But here's the terrifying catch. Despite outshining Rogers, despite wearing the armband, and despite saving the day, Bellingham still has no guarantees. With the World Cup opener against Croatia in Dallas just days away, Wednesday's clash against Costa Rica in Orlando isn't just another friendly for Jude Bellingham. It's an absolute must-win audition. But is there more to this than just tactical preference? Why would Thomas Tuchel hesitate to start a generational talent like Jude Bellingham? Well, if you dig deeper, the reality is much more concerning. This hasn't been the fairy tale season everyone expected for Jude at Real Madrid. Instead, it's been an absolute nightmare of fitness setbacks. Bellingham has been battling a brutal left hamstring injury, on top of undergoing a serious procedure to fix a long-standing shoulder issue. He missed massive chunks of the season with Los Blancos, falling way short of his usual world-class standards. In fact, before the squad announcement, a rumor was swirling that Bellingham might get left home entirely. And don't forget, Tuchel has already proven he is completely ruthless. He shocked the football world by dropping massive superstars like Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, and Morgan Gibbs-White from this World Cup roster. He doesn't care about your reputation. He only cares if you fit his rigid system and if you are 100% fit. Tuchel only brought Jude to the World Cup to ensure elite depth. Think about that for a second. Jude Bellingham brought along just for depth. The pressure on Tuchel right now is astronomical. England are expected to win the entire tournament, and losing a peak fitness playmaker could cost him his job. Jude is a vital asset, but right now, he is a massive question mark. The clock is ticking, the pressure is mounting, and Jude Bellingham is officially running out of time.
Moments
Do you think
players.
Bellingham starts, Miguel?
Maybe not the first game. I think he's liked. He does like the way Rodgers moves the team.
He does, but honestly, if you don't start Bellingham in the first game,
I don't think Bellingham starts.
I kind of fear that you're right, Martin.
Yeah, this is it.
I think it would be such a big mistake. Bellingham and Kane are the best two players in that squad. Bellingham is an absolute superstar. What he did, he single-handedly dragged, I think, England through Euro 2024. Absolutely. He was fantastic. He was brilliant. He carried it on his shoulders. He's fabulous. It's been a weird season for him. Ups and downs, managers, injuries. But I tell you what, it could play into freshness for him. But there's no doubt in my mind that if you put Jude Bellingham in against Croatia, he will be an absolute superstar. He'll be a sensation. He will be the man to link to Kane. You've got to focus on your best players. The best two players, I think, in that squad, in that team, are Kane and Bellingham.
He's had a bad season at Real Madrid.
He's a big game player, though, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he is. He's a big game player.
So's Morgan Rodgers. He's done it in Europa League final.
And it'll be interesting to see what Tuchel goes with in that opening game. It's Jude Bellingham who's been given the number 10 shirt. Morgan Rodgers has got the number 17 shirt. Should we read too much into that? Probably not. But maybe there's something to talk about there.
Rodgers to Bellingham. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I think Bellingham is twice the player of Rodgers. Yeah. People don't agree with me on this, by the way. Rodgers had a lot of love, a lot of support. But I think Jude Bellingham is an icon.
It's a different level, isn't it?
I agree. I think so. I think so. As brilliant as Rodgers has
for Real
been,
Madrid and was like in Ballon d'Or conversation. Yeah.
For more than a year now, we've been discussing exactly what Jude Bellingham's role is in this England side and whether he's a starter in Thomas Tuchel's mind. Morgan Rodgers was the man who got the nod in the vast majority of World Cup qualifying matches. He's the only England player who featured in all of those 8 games. Bellingham, by contrast, only played in 4. And now, when Thomas Tuchel has been asked whether Bellingham has a battle on his hands to win a starting place in his World Cup 11, Tuchel said, yes, he has. He went on to say, he is one of the starters. He knows he's one of the starters, but we have 14 or 15 potential starters. Those roles can always change, but at the moment, I think there are like 14 or 15 proper starters, and Jude is one of those. I think it's fair to say that Bellingham outperformed his very good friend Morgan Rodgers in the friendly against New Zealand in Tampa on Saturday, and Tuchel has said that the Real Madrid man looks like he's in top form. He, meaning Jude, looks good. He looks good in training. I think he is at the moment in a sweet spot because he has had his break and he has the hunger to be back on the pitch, and after injury this is normal. And he is so happy to be back on the pitch. You take everything in. Now, Tuchel again refused to say whether Jude Bellingham is part of his leadership group, so all of that debate will continue. But the England head coach went on to talk about the different roles he's assigned to the members of his 26-man squad. He said, yes, there are 14 or 15 starters, but he said there's also a special group, he didn't elaborate on what they were, and a group of finishers, the guys he might use to come off the bench and try and affect a result.